Welcome into Sports Extra, everybody. Got my good friend Joe Patrick here from 92.9 The Game. We're going to be joined by Grant McCauley and Gabe Burns later on in the show. So happy that you're here, my friend. I see you a lot in Flowery Branch, but it's nice to be in the air conditioning.
That's right. It's training camp season, so we're all trying to get inside as much as possible when we can.
You can tell by the tanned shoulders that I've been outside of training camp. It's been a whole lot of fun, and we've got another week of camp in the books. Pads are on, so that means we're getting closer to the real thing. Real thing if you want to count a preseason game on Friday against the Detroit Lions. But let's talk about QB1 to start us off. Micah Penix Jr., there's a lot of attention on him, of course, because he's starting for the first time in his NFL career as a quarterback. However, as we know with young quarterbacks, they can struggle sometimes in training camp. Up and down week for Mike. What have you noticed?
Yeah, I think that, the word I associate with Michael Penix is confidence. The guy is just confident, both physically and mentally. I think the mental aspect is actually what I appreciate about him the most, Maria. He was asked in one of these press scrums that he had about, Zach Robinson and his willingness to call plays or his wanting to kind of adapt the offense to what Michael Penix does. And Penix just says, just call the play. Call whatever you think is the best play for us to win, and we'll make it happen. That's the kind of confidence that you want to see from your quarterback. And then he has the confidence on the field to make these throws. It seems like every practice, you come away with one or two just throws that kind of make your jaw drop. And that's the kind of home run hitting ability that this Falcons offense needs if they want to really be one of the better offenses in football and lead them to the playoffs.
He has all the pieces around him for this to truly be an explosive offense. I know he threw his first interception of camp this week. He beat himself up for a long time after he threw that, Joe. So he takes this thing very seriously. Another thing that's actually really serious that perhaps we're not talking about enough, there's a kicking competition alive and well in Flowery Branch. Younghoe Koo has been hitched to the wagon of Rocky Morris for a really long time, but better turn around and look at Lenny Krieg because here he comes. What do you think about this competition?
I'll tell you, Lenny Krieg is really, really impressive. We got to see them kick against each other for the second time on Friday, and I was standing right by the crossbar so I could see where the ball was crossing the crossbar. And Lenny Krieg on a 55-yard kick, that ball is crossing over the crossbar at the tip-top of the goalpost. On a 50-yarder, it was over the top of the goalpost. The guy has a legit leg. Having said that, I don't think Lenny Krieg can win this kicking competition.
Wow.
I think that Younghoe Koo can lose it, and that's the way that Lenny Krieg would find himself as the Falcons kicker. But as long as Younghoe Koo is the same Younghoe Koo that the team has long known before last season, that's the reliability and experience that he has an edge over Lenny Krieg, and he's just not going to be able to relinquish that job.
I like the way that you phrase it because I still do believe, similar to you, that it's Younghoe Koo's job to lose. So should he do that in training camp, perhaps we see Lenny. But it is a very fun and fascinating competition going on. Bijan Robinson, no competition for him. There's some big personal expectations for B in year 3, but we've got the same amount of expectation that I think the entire NFL does for Bijan Robinson. He is the running back that can transform an offense, but aside from Bijan, this run game is going to be very important for the Falcons, right?
Absolutely, and I think that with Bijan, I think that he is an absolutely special talent that can be the league leader in rushing yards. And I think a lot of fans and a lot of pundits around the league are a little hesitant to kind of put him in that category, but I think it's important to remember that his longest run of his career is only 39 yards. And that's the kind of thing that can be highly variable. And I know that is a target for the Falcons this year, is to have him have some more of those explosive touchdown runs from 50, 60 yards. That's a lot to ask for, but a player like Bijan Robinson can do it. And then he's perfectly complemented by Tyler Algier. It always has been since they've been kind of put together. But to me, I don't know about you, Maria, Tyler is looking as big and as physical as ever before. I think it's actually done his body a little bit of good since Bijan's been able to take some of that workload off of him the last couple of years, and you can get the absolute best of both those players.
It's unbelievable to have a two-headed monster like those two at running back. Enjoy it, Falcons fans, because I think this is the last year that you get of Tyler Algier, and then eventually Bijan Robinson will have to get paid, of course. Let's talk about new defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich, his second time around with this franchise. There is a lot of buzz around the defensive side of the football, and particularly what Ulbrich is bringing to the table. These guys are bought in. How have you seen that kind of transform itself in training camp?
You can see their faces light up a little bit when they start to talk about Jeff Ulbrich and the scheme, especially coming from what they did last year. And last year, I think one of the big critiques that fans had, and I think the players, weren't as vocal about it, but I think they felt like they were overcoached a little bit, like they were instructed to be just kind of widgets that did exactly what the coach wanted. And what Jeff Ulbrich is bringing to this team is a freedom for these defensive players. Zach Robinson called it allowing us to use our superpowers as defensive players to go out there and make plays. And that's exactly what defensive players want to do. They want to chase the quarterback. They want to go out there. We know Jesse Bates can kind of make plays by breaking off assignments. And so that's the kind of instinctiveness that he wants this defense to have. He's going to really allow these guys to, I think, play the best of their capabilities.
He said he wants them to play violently, and aggressive is the word that these guys keep using. I love that they're fired up about it. I hate to spend a little bit of time on this because I could talk about this for days. I know you could as well. Let's get to the biggest storyline in the NFL right now, Micah Parsons' situation in Dallas. It has been kind of a disaster for them. Micah Parsons wants out. Jerry Jones says, not so fast. You're staying here. What do you make of this whole scenario? And every other team in the NFL better be pining for this guy.
The situation's been totally bungled by Jerry Jones in this Cowboys front office. I mean, to let a player of Micah Parsons' ability get to this stage where he's saying that he wants out and he basically is refusing to play for the team again. We'll see if they can resolve it. I think Jerry Jones, he's saying this is just a negotiation and such, but it feels personal for Micah just based on what he's put out there on social media, obviously requesting the trade officially on Friday. And I'm sure every NFL team is going to be putting in calls to see if there's something that they can work out.
You're not smart unless you put in a call for Micah Parsons. This guy is in his prime, 26 years old and the best in the NFL as a pass rusher. Let's get into